This is Terrence Andre Banks with Information Age Financial Solutions, coming to you again about the pension crisis. And if you're watching and following the news, we had a little stock market, a little correction. But why that takes care of the mainstream news, because that's showing in the numbers here. Many people who are facing pensions, the pension crisis is the most, as I mentioned in previous videos, most important crisis one of the most important crises we're going to face in our lifetime, because of how many of the people dependent on these things actually working and requiring them to pay out a certain amount of money through their lifetime. And this is the biggest, with 75 million baby boomers and 10,000 retiring each day. It continues to be my focal intention, because I mentioned before in previous videos of how many family members I know are dependent on pensions. Well, if you live in Vermont, there's more bad news. This article came from Vermont Biz, not a site that I visit often, but I don't, actually, to be honest with you, I don't even go to it at all. But when you're dealing with pensions, and I want to, just keep myself abreast of them, especially in different states, the article alone sticks out for me. So let's dive right into it. More bad pension news for Vermonters. The reports cover pension and retirement health care benefits, OPEB, for state workers and teachers, and results are frankly quite startling. The 2017 report shows that Vermont's combined unfunded liability has increased by over 900 million, over 25% in just 1 year. So as June 30th, 2017, our unfunded liabilities stand at 4.5 billion, an amount that is now 3 times our general fund revenues and 7 times our bonded indebtedness. Now, you got to take in consideration here that most states can't print money like the federal government can. So they're going to be relying on still tax revenue to bring the capital in to do this. And this is a very big point. The large increase only compounds the problem we already had in paying for those generous benefit programs. You will find out that language seems to be in a lot of these different aspects when they're reporting the pension issues that they're having. Generous benefit programs. Keep in mind that the state is not making any of the annual required payments on the OPEB for 2017. The unpaid amount for OPEB was 85 million. Yes, 85 million. A 57% increase over 2016. These payments do swing from year to year by several $1 million due to a combination of factors. For example, the unpaid amount in 2016 was 54 million. It is also important to note that these liabilities would have been over $1 billion more were it not for changes already made by the treasurer. The state has made an annual required pension payments for 7 years now. For 7 years, how? I'm sorry, I'm even reading it wrong to get the impression. And in 2017, the payment was 137 million. They're wondering how they even made the payment to say there. Some funny math going on here. The annual required payment for 2019 is 177 million, an increase of 40 million or 29% in just 2 years. These amounts are taken from the actuary's report. We must ask the hard question. What programs will be cut or taxes raised to cover this gigantic increase, given that the revenues are projected to only increase around 3.5%? Put it another way, in 2008, the pension payment was 2.25% of revenues. In 2012, 6.4%. In 2017, 9.4%. And in 2019, it will increase to 11.5%. And keep in mind, as mentioned earlier, the state is not paying anything against the 2017 OPEB obligation of 85 million. To compound matters, another problem is likely to occur soon, which relates to the assumption used by the state for the return of the pension investments. In 2016, the assumption was 7.95%, and in 2017, it was lowered to 7.5%. This assumption is still high compared to other states who are moving their rate to 7% and lower. For example, if our rate was lowered to 6.5%, a more reasonable assumption would have the effect of increasing our unfunded liability by 600 million. Everything is based on people continually having a growth. That means the pensions only could be funded if the economy continues to grow, people take on more debt, and we just increase this massive aspect. But there's nothing built in for corrections. And they've never told the individuals about this. And that's why it's such a huge issue. And with the recent correction we had over last week, and it's looking like it's coming back in terms of the market going back up, you can only keep this going but so far, because the business cycle will still come in play. we will have a correction, and this will crush these particular pensions. They're already happening now that the liabilities are becoming astronomical each year. And as mentioned in another video, 2018 is going to bring all this to light, and it's already showing. Failure by the state to make these pension payments will likely result in Vermont losing its coveted AAA rating. That result would increase the state's borrowing costs and those of other state-related agencies such as the VHFA, VSAC, VMBB, and VEDA. So Vermont had a AAA rating. So it's interesting because the states that's supposed to be a great place to borrow, great place to live, and are having serious financial issues. Essentially, these bonds are costing taxpayers additional millions of dollars. Having said this, there's some more promising news to report. The administration and Treasury have reached an agreement to have a stress test performed on the pension system. My understanding is this will include testing how the system will perform under different market and volatility conditions. Importantly, it would also address affordability, which is critical as to whether or not the systems are sustainable. At the end of the day, does anyone think our state can possibly meet these obligations? I doubt even those legislators supported by the labor unions can believe this, given the preponderance and magnitude of this factual information. Without strong leadership to change our structural programs inherent in the pension and OPEBB programs, our state is headed for a financial tsunami. Now, this is a local writer here writing for Vermont. This is a local newspaper there. You're seeing it firsthand, folks. We're going to go for a rah-rah for 2018, but make sure you have your family members aware of this pension crisis. And if you're in the state of Vermont, you really need to get prepared, as well as everybody in every state, because we don't really know what's on the balance sheet until it starts really unfolding. So until my next video, if this has been any value to you, please subscribe. And until my next video, I'm out.